What up? My name is Adrian from Rabona's TV, and how was your weekend? Did you enjoy the Champions League Final, or did your weekend get progressively worse with every single Real Madrid goal? Before we begin, I just want to say a quick shout out to all the new subscribers. Thank you for joining us here. Make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below as we can talk football. I can get to know ya. It's gonna be great. But enough of that, let's get to it. But before we do, I just gotta say that I'm gonna be referencing the previews video that me and Jimmy did on Thursday for the Champions League Final. So if you haven't watched that, you could do it, and you'll understand a few of my references a little bit more. But there's no pressure there. So this match was just about the definition of a game of two halves, considering how beatable Juventus looked in the second half. Good thing I didn't make any videos about them being unbeatable or saying how they're going to win the whole Champions League or anything like that. But unfortunately for Juventus, that's 5 consecutive Champions League finals lost, 2 of which were versus Madrid. They've now lost the European Cup finals 7 times, more than any other club. Real, on the other hand, have won more than any other club with 12 European Cup wins. That's the same amount of titles as the second and third place teams combined. They've won 3 in the last 4 seasons and are the first team ever to win back-to-back Champions League titles. They've won 12 out of 15 finals appearances, losing finals only to Benfica, Inter, and Liverpool. This match started off with Real Madrid looking a little bit too excited to be playing. Excited to the point where they just weren't playing well. And it probably wasn't until the first Ronaldo goal, more on that freak of nature later, that they started to come into the game a little bit more. But Juventus, of course, made everyone think that this was going to be an epic final by matching them shot for shot, and what a shot it was by Mario Mandzukic. By the way, just a little side note on Mandzukic and Croatian people in general, there has been a Croatian in the starting 11 of every single Champions League winning side since 2011-2012. That's impressive. Modric and Mandzukic have been a couple of those Croatians. Also, Croatia is a great place to visit, so if you haven't done that before, you should consider it. Anyway, back to the football. As I mentioned in the Champions League Final preview video, Zidane seems to be that manager that has been there, done that, won that, and knows exactly what to say when the players need it. And shit, did it ever work, as the second half was an absolute demolition, with Real Madrid scoring 3 goals in the second half alone, equaling the number of goals that Juventus had conceded in the entire tournament up to this point. Now, Zidane said that they had studied Juventus a lot and had found weaknesses in their seemingly waterproof tactics. And Modric said, and I quote, "Juventus's defense is great when it comes to crosses, but not so on low return passes. That is what we worked on, and that is how we scored 3 of our goals." So we gotta give plaudits to Zidane for noticing that and exploiting it, as so many teams failed to do. Isco and the aforementioned Modric were integral to breaking down Juventus's defense. Whether it's through their movement or their passing, they scrambled up their backline and made room for others. For the third, as I mentioned, Real Madrid clearly did their homework, as this goal looked reminiscent of Kylian Mbappe's goal versus Juventus in the semi-finals. A cut back to the near post and a tidy finish from the striker, though this time, of course, it was Ronaldo, as he scored his 600th career goal. But before we speak about Ronaldo, and I promise we will speak all about him, let's give it up to Luka Modric and Isco. Like I said before in this video and in Jimmy's preview video that I did with him, these two were the keys to breaking down Juventus' defense, with Isco in particular becoming integral to Real's tactics in the latter stages of the Champions League. And I firmly believe that Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro are the best central midfield trio in the world. Casemiro, largely unfancied by Perez while Benitez was in charge, had more successful tackles with 33 than any other player in the Champions League. Toni Kroos had a tournament average pass accuracy of 93%. In the last 4 years, he's managed passing accuracies of 94%, 95%, 96%, and finally 93%. And we gotta give love to Zidane, who had the bravery to not even include James in the squad. But his managerial record at Real Madrid speaks for itself. 87 games, 65 wins, 7 defeats, and 5 trophies after just 1.5 seasons, averaging a trophy every 103 days. Truly a favorite for the Manager of the Year award already. The scoring in this match ended with Marco Asensio, who actually scored Real Madrid's first goal of the season and their very last, in what was a campaign that saw them score in every single match. No team was able to get a clean sheet against Real Madrid this season. But speaking of goals, we have to talk about the man who people love to hate, Cristiano Ronaldo. Let me start by saying this, I'm not a massive Ronaldo fan, nor do I dislike him. So let's just for 1 second appreciate the fact that we get to watch this incredible player, and more than that, this incredible winner. Starting the match off right with a goal, any keen lip reader could see that he said, "Don't worry about it, be calm, I'm here," which is arrogant, of course, but just as Zidane's record speaks for itself, so does Ronaldo's. He became the first player ever to score in 3 Champions League finals. He's had 5 consecutive seasons where he was the Champions League top scorer, 10 goals in the last 5 Champions League matches, scored 16 goals in his final 10 matches of the season in all competitions, scored his 600th career goal for club and country, and yet people still say he isn't a big game player. And those who still say that need to politely just shut the f up. Like I said, I'm not a huge Ronaldo fan, but the dude has scored more knockout round goals in the Champions League than any other player in the history of football. So I'm not sure how anyone can argue that he's not a big game player anymore. And you could say, yes, Adrian, but besides the 2 goals he scored, he didn't have any effect on this match. But if you were on his team, would you care? Ronaldo as a youngster was all raw ability, with constant diving and a lack of end product. He then began scoring, and he scored a lot using his physicality to beat anyone he chose. Now, while his physical ability may be going downhill, he has evolved into Ronaldo Mach 3, a Ronaldo Charizard. And Ronaldo Mach 3 is a lethal finisher in the box. This quote from Allegri says it all about Ronaldo and what we can come to expect from him in the future. It looked like he was napping all game, and then he would wake up and score against us. What a headache. Just when you think he's down, he snaps back into the game with a goal. Just like we all thought that he was done at the beginning of the season, and now he's looking better than ever. But I think that will just about do it for this video, folks. What did you think of the final? Do you think that Real Madrid has it in them to get an unprecedented 3 Champions League titles in a row? Considering the squad they have, James didn't even make the bench. I wouldn't really put it past them. Although James not making the bench is probably because he's going to get transferred, so why play him? Drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe if you're new around here. My name is Adrian. This is Rabona TV, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.